Hey everyone. Now if you've watched this channel for a while, you'll notice that I do a lot of SDR stuff, usually with an RTL SDR dongle or sometimes a hack RF. And I'm able to do that remotely over the network. So this computer here doesn't have any hardware connected to it directly, but I have the server out in the garage which is connected to the antennas, and I've got a whole bunch of these and hack RF in that, and I can get that through the network. Now I've shown in previous videos how I can do that either with the SOAPy server or just using RTL TCP for these things. But one particular program, SDR Trunk, is something I wanted to use in here, but I don't have an antenna. And also it doesn't have the mechanism to get it from the network through SOAPy or RTL TCP. So I was a bit stuck. So what I decided to do was set up a USB device that works over a network. So essentially, the USB device lives out there in the garage, but it's accessed locally as though it's plugged in here. So I'll go through how I set that up, so you can do the same thing if you need to. So in the garage here, I've got the antenna feeds coming in, and they go to all these SDR receivers and tuners and things here on top of the rack, which then go into the many USB ports on the server. So by doing it this way, I can avoid having all that on the desktop. Okay, so starting off on the server, that's the one where the device is going to be actually physically connected. Do a mod probe USB IP core. This USB IP should be in, if not just apt install it, but you shouldn't need to install anything, just probe for it. So USB IP host as well, because it's going to host the device. Okay, so once they're in, you can check them if you want with lsmod grep USB IP. You'll see they're there. Now to avoid having to do that every time, just put them in your etc modules file here. So you can see I've added them here, so they come up during boot up. So what I want to do first is see what's available on the system. So I do USB IP list and -L for local on this server. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of things here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab this RTL device that's out there, because you can see I've got a bunch of them and all sorts of other things. The hack RF's out there. But the thing I'm interested in is the bus ID. So you can see it there, 3-1.1. So what I'll do is I'll start USB IP with USB IP-D, and you can see it there. Now it's listening on port 3244 for connections over the network, but nothing's assigned to it yet. So I'll just open another little console here on the server, and I'll attach that device that I showed before. So USB IP list -L. As I said, it's going to be 3-1.1. So what I do is go USB IP bind bus ID 3-1.1, and it says it's complete. So that's ready to go from the server's end. Now I come over to this desktop, which is the client here. Now before I connect to anything, I'm going to start a packet capture on port 3240. So here's the capture ready to go, TCP port 3240, just so we can come back to that. So on the client device here, what I have to do is a couple of mod probes as well. So mod probe USB IP core and mod probe VHCI-HCD. Okay. And same as before, you can put them in the modules directory so it starts at boot up, okay, as I've already done. So, similar to before for listing the devices, I'm going to go USB IP list, but instead of local like I did on the server, I'm now doing it remote to the server's address. And you can see that there's one device available, so there it is. And if I have a quick look at the packet capture, you can see a little bit of comms went through there, just asking some stuff. So if I just show what happened, you can see it sent some info back. So that's obviously what it did when it interrogated it. But I'll leave that capture running on this port. So I haven't stopped that capture yet. So back on this client desktop here, I want to attach that. So I'll go USB IP attach, the remote 192.168.10.1, and the bus ID, which is 3-1.1. Actually, before I do that, I haven't done that yet, I'll do an LSUSB to show you what's connected here locally. And you can see I don't have any RTL things plugged in. Okay, that's just some other crap that I've got here. So if I do that now, it's attached. Then if I show LSUSB again, you can see I now have that RTL device here just as it would appear if I plugged it in directly here. That means all the programs that use it can use it directly here. Now in the packet capture, there's some stuff flowing constantly. Even though I'm not really doing anything with that at the moment, there's just a bit of background stuff. But of course once I start, that'll really take off. So what I might do is just stop that capture for now because I don't need that anymore. And what I'll do is I'll start the radio up, and you can see it's accessing it locally here. So it's working fine over the network. Like if I go to the settings you can see it's accessing it just locally, not through RTL TCP. And if I were to do a packet capture, it would be going crazy because, of course, there's lots of data going through here. So anyway, no need for that. Now, if I want to detach it, it's a little bit trickier. What I've got to do is do USB IP port, and it shows up this port here, port 00. So I do USB IP detach, and it's by port number. So you do it like that, and it detaches it. And you have to kind of do that if you want to do this cleanly. Otherwise, it gets itself in a bit of a state at the server. It thinks something's still connected when it's not, and then you try to connect it again, and funny things can happen. So it's good to detach it properly. When you shut this down. So when you start it up, it might not be able to attach. Just better to do it this way. Okay, so that's detached. Now if I do LSUSB, of course it's gone. So I'll just attach it again. Boom, there it is, LSUSB, and it's back. Now it's handy for me because I've been on and off programming a 3D spectrum analyzer, and I don't have the SOAPy server or RTL code at all in my software. I'm expecting this to be local. So what I can do here is just access that remotely from here and continue working on my program here. So that helps me in that regard. So that's one of the main reasons I did it. Now to unbind it on the server, I just do the opposite of what I did to bind it. So USB IP, unbind, and the bus ID was 3-1.1, and that takes it out. So that's pretty simple. And that's all there is to it. Now, if you want to set up your own startup scripts, you'll want to do that if you want something permanent. But it works for a number of things. So I've got TV adapters out there. I'll just show you one of those since we've come this far. So I'll go through it again with one of those. I'll do USB IP list local, okay? And I'm just going to pick one of these TV tuners. That one there will do. So it's bus 5-1.1. Okay, so USB IP, bind, bus ID 5-1.1. Now it says it's already bound. I obviously forgot to unbind it, but here's what little catch can happen. If I go on the client device and I look for devices that are ready to go on the server, it says it's not there. So what is it? It gets itself in a bit of a state, as I was saying. So what I've got to do is just unbind it, okay, and bind it again. And now it says it's happy. So now when I list the remote devices, there it is. So I'll attach it to this local host here. USB IP, attach from the remote 1.10.1, bus ID 5-1.1. And once again, I should see it here now. So now I've got that device. So what I can do is I can scan for channels on au-brisbane channels.conf. And that'll go through the scanning out there just as though it's here. It'll find the channels and then you'll be able to run it. So I might as well show you that just to show that it works. Okay, now I've got a channels.conf file, as you can see, and I can just open that up in VLC. So there it is there, and you can just pick one and it'll play just as though it's local here. Now that doesn't stream through the network as decoded multicast video like I usually do. That's emulating the adapter as though it's plugged in right here. So as far as VLC is concerned, it's right here. And another program that I use this for is SDR Trunk, which is for decoding digital trunked radio systems, because that program doesn't support either a SOAPy server or the RTL TCP program. So I have to do it that way, and that works fine as well. So anyway, wanted to share that with you. I'm sure that'll come in handy for a lot of people for a lot of things. Certainly will for me anyway. So that'll do for now. Until next time, take it easy.